What's up, Joel? Ribeye night. Elon Musk, what's up, buddy? We're talking about you. Elon and his tweets. Thank you. Silverman, welcome. I don't think Elon would give him that actual picture as his profile. Lucas, shoot me an email, man. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Boom. We have the Real Migos crew tonight. Hello, everybody. We got the, what do we call it? Benevolent Beret and Inquisitive Mullet. Is that what we said?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, all right. Lucas, shoot me a line. I got a busy week, but shoot me an email and we will get together. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. And I want to say a special thank you to Silverman, longtime watcher, first time on the stream. Welcome, welcome. First of all, thank all of you for taking the time to join the stream. I know we do these for 3 hours almost most of the time. So for all of you that stick around towards the end, we really appreciate that. I did get a message and I showed it to the guys today. Complaining about how long our streams are. Let me explain something real quick. We do this for free. We spend a lot of time doing this. So if you'd like to see these cut down into an hour and sent out, I do have an editor. I got to pay him though. So if you want to see these things paid and cut down to an hour, feel free to shoot us because this comes out of my pocket every time we do it. So there you go. All right. Flashback Nancy, what's up? Welcome, welcome. Matt, what's up? We back, baby. All right. So we tonight, the three wise men, and we will have one more joining shortly, the wise woman. We're talking about Elon Musk. Right?
Yeah.
Elon.
I was waiting for you to go through your intro, there's a lot to talk about, I think.
There's a lot to talk about. I mean, it seems like every week now there's a tweet that has to deal with something about Texas, from Brownsville now to Austin. And I feel like every time there's a tweet, it makes a sense of urgency happen and more people frantic call. Do you feel the same way?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I love it. This week's was great. That's exactly what we needed. Austin plus, baby.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
I don't think we needed that, but I'm not upset. But it is kind of getting. It makes a big change. You end up getting a lot more calls when he does tweet that kind of stuff.
Are we jumping right into that, or
yeah? Let's go. I'm gonna pull up his Twitter.
Already have it.
Oh, you got it. All right, pull it up because I was having difficulties today. But where'd I go? So his latest tweet was Austin plus, and that we needed more Say urgent need to build more housing in Greater Austin. No, Elon. Austin A++. So, what are your thoughts on that? And by the way, quick plug. If you are looking to go to South Padre to see Starbase, here is my turnkey rental ready to go. You can go see Starbase. We're going to talk about that later, but yeah, there you go. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is you have the urgent need to build more housing. Fine. That's a tweet. This guy obviously has a heavy amount of influence, but the part that people don't always see is how many likes, how many comments, how many retweets, and how is it spreading? It's one thing for him to just say it, but then seeing how much it's spreading. And then from there, think about all the people that are like, you know what, he's right. But they're not coming for jobs. They're just doing it because they think he's right. He ends up with a cult following in a lot of cases. And so I think that that's starting to fuel, put more stokes in the fire. Restoke
for sure. Yeah, I mean, Austin ++, like, it's just so random. I don't know what he gets this stuff from, but like, you know, well, and later on, you can see down his feed, he actually talks about some other reasons why I feel like he's bringing that up. Even we can talk about that later. But yeah, every time this happens, like, okay, there are how many people in Austin? It has 138,000 likes, right? The organic reach that this has for us is incredible. It's great, but at the same time, it actually, I think even this week has made it worse, because I was looking today at some places and, like, you know, 13 homes available total in some criteria that I searched for, like 13 total homes for my clients to be looking at right now. 13 total, you know, and that's like, you have to choose out of those. Are any of these 13 like even remotely acceptable options for them? That's the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, here's a good comment. It just makes it worse for those of us searching for a house. Yeah. I mean, that's all it comes down to. I mean, it's great that he's bringing that many jobs to Austin. I mean, that is a positive. I do like that he's given some funds to Del Valle. I think there'll be a tweet I think will show up here in a second, but I mean, that's all great, but it just makes it even harder to buy a home. Before we go any further, let's welcome Katie Day back to the channel. So Katie had pitched me doing a day and night podcast. I quickly said no because my ego is way too big for it to be day night, and we just couldn't come together.
Couldn't come to terms, you know.
Well, welcome, Katie Day. How are you?
What's going on, man? I appreciate you inviting me to this and then not actually inviting me to this. So I'm glad to be here.
So I actually, there was a 310 number I just sent the link to. So if they jump on, it's going to be pretty funny. By the way, Katie, what are you drinking tonight? I got Pint House. Electric Jellyfish is the beverage of choice tonight. Katie, what do you got?
Oh, you're gonna yell at me. I have water.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, we're keeping it clean tonight. No more bourbon nights for me. We got to slow it down. People are concerned I was getting too drunk on the channel, so we're going to.
You're speaking different languages by like 8 p.m. So you know.
Well, I mean, it's a 3-hour show. 8 p.m. No, it's more like 9 o'clock. The after hours gets a little funny. But Katie, you're an outsider in the old Houston area. So if you got questions about Houston, Katie Day is the one to go to. She only works during the day. Keep that in mind. But Katie Day is an outsider being in the lonely city of Houston. What is your take on Elon tweeting about Brownsville and Austin and not Houston?
Yeah,
that's fine. Leave some homes for the rest of us out here. I think it's funny because we have a lot of clients that we talk to that are considering like Houston, Dallas, Austin, like what are they trying to, where they want to move? And, like we talk to them like, hey, like if you're considering Austin, like depending on their price point, we're like, you probably shouldn't move there just because as, you guys were just saying, like there isn't a ton of inventory. Like, so in your price point, there could be 10 homes available, so here there might be 20 to 25, right?
Well, this is a good point. There's a lot of people that are probably thinking about moving to Austin and they see these tweets and then they come into Austin and they're like, this is just way too hot of a market. Are you seeing an influx of people coming to Houston that said no way to Austin because of how hot the Austin market is?
Yeah, I mean, I think for some, right, that have the flexibility to be able to move to, Austin or Houston or wherever they want, right? Obviously, some people do have work that's in Austin or whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, I think that we are seeing a lot of migration from Austin to Houston as well as Dallas to Houston. There's always been a lot of, Texas city moving around.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question.
Oh, I actually sent this a video about this to the guys today, and not Katie because she's not in our text thread. Sorry, Katie.
I'm not a real amigo.
Discord.
I'm not amigo.
Yeah. So by the end of this, if you think Katie should be, we've had some really good contestants to be the fourth Migo. And so if you think by the end of this that Katie Day might be part of the Real Amigo family, let me know. Put it in the chat. Or if you think just Houston is too hot and humid, like Nancy said, we'll just leave her off completely. But Katie, so there was an article out from the WSJ. What is that?
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal. Yeah, there you go. Talking about pension funds buying up neighborhoods. I know this actually happened in Georgetown a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly. What do you think about that? What does that do? I mean, basically, I don't know. You probably didn't read the article, but basically they're saying is they're buying it up and then renting it out. So it's taking away inventory from people. Sorry.
Are you saying that I don't know how to read or that?
I don't know if you read the artitle. That's what I'm saying.
Because it's about Georgetown, Texas. That's what he's getting at. He's not trying to,
Yeah. Sorry. Your take, Katie.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I did read it. I think it was like 125-ish homes or 120 homes in Conroe that they basically bought I think it was D.R. Horton subdivision. And yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. And we've seen not even pension funds, but just like investors build communities just for rentals, right? So, I mean, I think that it's something that, at some points too, we also start seeing them sell, right? So I think that it's great to have more affordable housing. It would be great if they were all for sale because we need more homes for sale for affordable housing, but we also need homes for rent as well. So like, I think that if the land is there and they can build them, that's good. But I mean, it definitely continues to drive up prices. And that's something that, is an issue in Houston as well as definitely in Austin of like not having affordable housing. Right. So I think that, plays a part or impacts it as well.
This comment's kind of funny. Yeah. So I had my earbuds and they're out somewhere and they weren't in my case. So my apologies. Yeah,
I've got headphones on too with wires.
Oh yeah. We got to show off. Wait. Now that you don't have those big clunky headphones on, we got to show off the mullet. Go ahead.
You gotta swing that right real quick. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's getting so long. I can feel it blowing in the breeze. It's actually getting distracting.
Yeah.
It's distracting me right now.
Yeah, I have that problem with my hat every once in a while. It just flutters in the breeze, right?
Yeah. If you've noticed, the new logo is up. We're so far rolling with this. But if you notice, Kevin's does have a bit of a little dragon tail there. If we add Katie, how do we do Katie on here? So I don't know. Somebody said something about definitely Katie. I don't. Randy. Can you explain why Randy? She's in Houston. It's so muggy there. They have hurricanes. It floods.
We can add her a big sunshine in the corner.
That's right.
So
go ahead.
I noticed that Master Jedi talked about how it was blowing up the economy. One thing that he loves.
There we go. Not this.
We know what he loves, right? We know the area he loves. Where is that?
That's
always brings it up.
No, I think he said he loves Lago Vista.
It was either Treviso or Houston. It was one of those.
Oh, speaking of Treviso, I think I had somebody email me. They paid $230,000 for the lot on a Taylor Morrison and one. $230,000 for the lot, and they wanted my take on it. And I was like, you have a realtor that you're working with. I don't work for free. So I appreciate you reaching out to me. So the note to those people, if you want to send me an email to ask if you got a good deal, I do have paying clients. So I appreciate that, but please don't email me that. This is what the channel's for. I designate this 3-hour time frame to answer those questions on here. So you're taking away from other clients who are actually paying me for all my beautiful knowledge. So appreciate that.
Beautiful knowledge.
Yeah.
It is pretty. Yeah.
Treviso drop. Yes, we're doing Treviso drop. All right, let's keep moving along. Master Jedi said something about Bastrop. You're right, Josh Hill.
Yeah.
We're just giving him a hot time.
So the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because if you look at it, if you go from Treviso straight to Houston, Bastrop's like right in the middle. I mean, it's not in the middle, but it's on the way. So, and I know we'll get into like areas and how this is affecting people in a little bit, but what areas it's affecting.
Yep. So Katie, any other, since you're, interviewing to be on the show, any other useful knowledge things you'd love to say?
I'm good for right now. I don't want to give
it doesn't matter. I muted her anyway. Okay, let's move on. Just kidding. Just kidding.
He's cruel, isn't he?
She muted herself now. Okay, see, I see how it is. Oh,
man.
man.
She has the power.
I tried. If anybody doesn't know, Katie and I talk quite a bit, and we have doodles from the same breeder, so we are good friends.
What?
So
they just met this weekend.
Doodles like dogs.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Like drawings. I don't know.
Yeah. Like our logo or something.
We got doodles from the same kindergartner.
And the place is out of Houston. So Houston is good for something. It gave me a dog that likes to bite and chew on everything. So
maybe it's because you keep talking trash about Houston. And the dog's like, Turner's like, man, that's where it came from. You should be nicer.
And keep in mind, his name is Turner after Justin Turner from the Dodgers. You're welcome, everybody. All right, moving on. So Elon also tweeted about needing jobs. He said something about needing 10,000 jobs right away. Let me see if I can find it. But comment on the 10,000 jobs needed. Here you go.
Yeah.
Kevin, what's up?
Yeah, I was looking at that. 10,000 people needed for Giga. I heard people are calling it Terra, Texas now instead of Giga. Giga is kind of so 2010s.
Well, there's a reason, right? It's a lot. I mean, just the size of it. Think about the square footage, but it's also it's 3 factories or 3 businesses. Right. So that makes sense for Terra.
I mean, this kind of stuff I think these kind of tweets are actually better for long term than just like, go build houses, because people that aren't thinking about, like, okay, obviously we have a housing crisis here, right? But if you're thinking about long term growth, when every client asks you guys, and every client asks me the same thing, they're like, when's this going to stop? Is it going to go on forever? Is it going to crash? All this BS about crashing. Like, listen, do you have a reason to think that this is going to slow down anytime soon? Any other reason besides the fact that every talking head looking for 5 minutes of fame, on TV is telling you that the housing market's going to crash? No. 10,000 people needed for Giga Texas. Like, that's just a drop in the bucket for the people coming to town. So I think this is awesome. It gives people more confidence that this is not just a housing bubble of sorts, but it's actually justified by, some fundamentals.
Well, I mean, think about this. All right, my job out of high school, I worked for Costco. I ended up working for Costco for almost 14 years in management. Even through college, even after I got my degree, I stuck around. But how cool would it be to come out of high school, living in Austin, get a job at Tesla, still go to college, and Tesla's, I mean, I'm sure they're going to work out something. I don't know what they're doing, but I imagine they're paying their employees quite well. But imagine coming out of high school right now in Austin, still going to college, staying local now, and being able to work at Tesla. I mean, I would do that. How many of you would be like out of college, out of high school, your college job, Tesla?
Oh my God.
I mean, knowing what I know now, duh.
You know how many times when I was working at Caterpillar, do you know how many times I applied for jobs at Nike?
Yeah.
Like a million times. I was never qualified, but I kept applying.
Well, so let's talk about that though. What will that do to our local economy, right? If you have high school kids that would fill a lot of these jobs out of high school, but they go work for Tesla, like what does that do to our local economy with some of these jobs that they could work, what are they making, $7 or $8 an hour, whatever the minimum wage is, I don't know. And then going off instead and making $15 plus an hour at Tesla. I mean, all day. Amazon's doing the same thing, but
if you could choose between the two, would you choose Tesla or Amazon? Let's be honest.
Yeah, what's it going to do to Amazon then?
Well, it also depends on what you think you're going to be doing and how ambitious you are, right? I used to want to work at Six Flags because I could sit there and watch TV while everybody was just in line, right? Like that was my original thought. And I thought, this is really dumb. I want to do something. I want to get out there and do something. So, and you think about it. So like Tesla is big on engineers, right? I mean, high schoolers are excited about that. That's funny.
Oh man, that's funny. So Katie, we had Amanda. Was it Amanda? Yeah, we had Amanda on last week, and she Amanda Rickman, and she got quite toasty right away and drank all of her wine like in the first hour. It was pretty great. So Katie, how jealous does it make you that Elon's tweeting about Austin like this, though?
So jealous. The most
So
jealous
jealous.
ever. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get you to be part of this show.
We just brought you on to roast you.
Apparently, but I mean that's Jeremy.
Did you not know
You
this is the roasting.
it's Jeremy. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, she can't take it too seriously.
What?
But Mark K says, is SpaceX going into the space area? Same area as the Tesla plant. Ian, don't flip the table if anyone says SpaceX. What is SpaceX? Yeah, Amanda didn't know what SpaceX was. Yeah, so I know the answer to this, and yes, they are leasing land to SpaceX. I am working with people moving and working with SpaceX currently, looking for homes. So their time frame is like August for a lot of these people to be out here, ish. So I don't know all the full logistics of it. I don't work there, so there you go.
Think about this: 10,000 jobs. Okay. There were 2,500 homes sold in our entire MSA in February, right? So that means it would take 4 months of all of Austin's inventory for those jobs to those people to find homes, and every home that would ever be listed. And of course, that's not going to happen. So if you took on the price point that all those people would be buying in, right? Probably not going to be buying $3 million homes, right? In that regard. So there physically isn't going to be enough homes. Like even for just those people coming here just for Tesla, we won't even be able to touch how many homes are needed for just them. That's the part that blows my mind.
Well, I mean, think about it too. Katie, how long of a drive is it from Austin to Houston?
3.5.
So if you can work in one of these jobs and they want you to be close to Austin, right? You could be Bastrop like Master Jedi keeps pimping, but you could live in Houston and be actually a lot cheaper in Houston. Although we all know nobody wants to live in Houston, but in San Antonio, right? I had another gentleman I was going to bring on, Rad, and New Braunfels, and have him talk about what this is doing for New Braunfels. But if you think about Georgetown, New Braunfels, San Antonio, Houston, they're all going to be impacted by this, because if you can be 3 hours away and work only a couple days a week in town in Austin, that might be worth their time. Especially, I mean, everybody's moving here to save money on taxes. So why would you live in the Bay Area when you could come live in Houston for a lot less and only commute a couple days in from Houston? I mean, do you think that'll have an impact on your market too, Katie?
I saw someone comment at Hyperloop from Austin. He said, I mean, I wouldn't make that drive, right? But I guess if I work for Tesla and had a Tesla and it could drive me there, then maybe I would. I don't know,
I think you can make it in one charge, right, Ian?
Yeah, I just did it. Yeah.
You did it? You came to Houston and you didn't call me?
See, that's exactly where I was going with that.
Go and then leave very quickly. Sorry.
That's weird because I was just in Austin and we saw each other there. But yeah, okay, that's cool.
I know.
Oh yeah, pull up the pictures, Katie. Let's show everybody that you were just here. Can you buy a house for $15 an hour?
That's true.
You can maybe in some of the outlying neighborhoods in Bastrop. I mean, look, $15 an hour. You're not going to buy a super expensive house, but you can.
Here's what's interesting about that question. It's going to depend on so many variables that we've talked about on this channel. What taxes are we talking about? What's the square footage of the home? How do you spend your money that you're making, right? Are you getting tax benefits? Are you married? There's so many variables to that. But yeah, two workers, no children, $15 an hour, very frugal, low tax neighborhood, no HOA, might be possible.
And also, it's not just them buying the houses. Like investors will likely buy a lot of the other houses that they can't afford and then rent them to the people that are making $15 an hour. So regardless of who buys them, we still need them. right?
Mm-hmm.
So last year there was only between 0 and 350 single family homes within how many miles? 15, 20 miles worth of the facility. There were only 2,800 homes sold last year, in all of last year in that price point.
Between what price point again?
With that math, it would take 3 years of all of the homes sold within like a 20, 30-minute drive of that facility just to satisfy the people for just that facility, not including anyone moving to Austin that can afford a home between $0 and $350,000. They are out of luck for 3 years.
Well, I mean, think about it. We had Amanda on the show last week. She's from Kyle. And when she told me the median price for Kyle was $361, I mean, come on, $361. My first sale, I did. Yeah, I had to clean up the camera. I mean, we're talking. My first ever sale was for $174,000 in Kyle. Mm-hmm. The client that I worked with probably made like maybe $20 an hour, but you could buy a house for $175,000 then. And now it's 361. So, Master Jedi says San Marcos, whatever you want to call it. Great. I mean, you can buy it. Wimberley used to be a great spot, but their prices have gone up as well. So I think every time he tweets stuff like A++, and we need 10,000 jobs in Austin stat, and, tweeting about SpaceX constantly, it's driving a fear to people to buy now. And so, yeah, $15 an hour, it's going to be a challenge, but people are buying further out for that reason.
So we haven't talked about all of the satellite or locations, right? Just because he has a factory that people know about, he's going to have offices all around. And that's going to be a huge boon on the economy as well. And I don't think people realize that part of it, right? Supposedly there's one in Pflugerville near Amazon, and then there's another one near Apple in North Austin, just north of the Domain. So, but these are offices. I don't know how many people will be working remote, but those are still things to consider. So the growth is going to be all over, not just concentrated in one area.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So Katie, let me ask you. So I want to keep going back to you because obviously you're on here and you're interviewing for a job, but
did you get my resume?
I did. I mean, there's a lot of holes in it, so I was a little.
You forgot the cover letter, though.
Yeah, I noticed
you didn't get a cover letter, Ian. Sorry.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of teeth marks from it. I know I got the excuse that your dog ate your homework, but let me ask you. So the Houston market compared to the Austin market, it's still hot, but are you starting to see a lot of this carryover from people moving from all other states where you're still seeing are starting to see multiple offers, or what is the situation in Houston?
Yeah, we actually were just talking about this on a live stream as well. So like not every home has multiple offers here. I actually looked at last month's stats for single family homes, and the list price to sales price ratio was anywhere between 83 to 110%. Right. So like, yes, there are things that are going over list, right? But there are also things that are selling, below. I mean, what's that?
What's that feel like?
Yeah,
ability to do that.
No, I mean,
2012.
So we have like 1.6 months of inventory here, which I know you guys last time we talked, you were at 0.6. Where are y'all at now?
Oh, it's 0.4 or 5. It depends. Yeah. I think actually I have it right here, but I think Williamson County and Kyle came up a little bit because they're 0.2 of a month, and I think they came up to 0.4. But I've written contracts over there, and they're still seeing multiple offers and everything. Yeah. I mean, we had to write $75,000 over on an offer. And one, in fact, Amanda was on here last week, one that was well overpriced. We still had to go over list price to get it, which was crazy to me.
It was still net zero listings versus closed.
Yeah. And that's we're seeing close-ish to the same, right? So yeah, I mean, I think like it's definitely busy. You definitely, as a buyer, need to be ready to make a move. So if you find that home, you don't need to sleep on it. You need to put the offer in and determine, the next day how you want to proceed. But like, it's definitely, not hundreds of thousands of dollars over, over list, waiving all contingencies, things like that. Yes, people are doing that, but it's not every single home, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think it's cool because you actually, one of the things they talked about previously is it says the company has established relationships with Austin Community College and all the rest of the wait, should I not be talking?
Get your website design,
Who is
content
that?
writing, and digital marketing to
Who
boost
is that?
traffic. Easy.
Yeah, Ian, thanks. Yeah, Ian's doing a plug for himself on here.
I know. It sounded like me, didn't it? Didn't it sound like me? That's really funny.
Was that not you?
That was not me.
Whatever.
It was just one of those ads that started showing up. That's really good.
Yeah, it did sound like you. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I think this little blurb was talking about how Tesla's partnering with the local universities to get the kids from the universities straight into to work there. So they're not only putting an emphasis on bringing jobs here, they're partnering with the local universities to make sure that those jobs come from kids that might have families already living in this area. I think that's huge, and people give Elon and Tesla a hard time, I think, for a lot of things, honestly. It's very eccentric, of course, but you can't deny that he has such a vision for these businesses. They give him a hard time because he got a huge tax break coming here, right? It's like, it's not fair that these big companies get these huge tax breaks. But you know what? They pay it back by doing things like this, like saying, hey, we're not going to do it right now, but we're going to reinvest ourselves in energy back into the communities that we're in. And mark my words, that Del Valley area around that facility 20, 30 years from now is going to be insane. I mean, it's going to be a hub of all kinds of things, technology. It's going to be retail. It's going to be housing. It's going to be a futuristic city of its own. I'm fairly certain.
They already have the plans for a lot of it. Yeah.
I love it, man. It makes me excited.
Well, I mean, all right. So I pulled this up.
Makes the mullet sing. I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So here's a prime example of what you just said. So please consider moving to Starbase or Greater Brownsville, South Padre, in Texas, and encourage friends to do so. SpaceX hiring needs for engineers, technicians, builders, and essential support personnel of all kinds, and growing rapidly. And he's donating $20 million to Cameron County schools and $10 million to the city of Brownsville directly for revitalization. I actually have stopped at the Charger at the HEB in Brownsville, and that little drive-in is actually nice. I like Browns personally because I go to South Padre a lot. I love Brownsville. I think it's a nice little city, and maybe it's underrated. I don't know. But I think, knowing that I bought a condo there last year, I'm going to keep talking about that, because if you want to rent my condo,
turnkey made ready.
Turnkey made ready. Here you go. But yeah, if you want to rent my condo, again, right here, turnkey, South Padre.
Oh, wow. It was just pulled up like that. That's so
no, it's right there.
What is it? Everybody has something to advertise tonight.
Yeah. I put the link in the description below as well. So if you want to stay at my place, but yeah, so South Padre, I mean, sorry, I didn't even do that on there, or did I? But even then, I mean, so doing all of those things for all these communities, I think you're right, Kevin. I mean, a lot of people give big tech billionaires a hard time, but when they reinvest like he's doing, it's great. I think it's great.
It's the gift that keeps on giving to the community. It's an intangible. It is impossible to even calculate. Although people will try to calculate the benefit that it'll have, it's impossible to do that because you don't know the full economic impact of a decision like that. Not only that, think of the other businesses he is doing, and all the other businesses. Like, how old is he? Anybody know how old he is?
He's 50.
50?
Yeah.
No, I thought he's not going to create at least a handful more businesses before he's done, right? Where do you think he's going to put those? Like Neuralink?
Where he's at. Oh, yeah. Neuralink already has an office. Starlink has an office. All these places have offices in Austin or around Austin that they've picked.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Aware People.
And then here's the other thing. So if you can share my screen, Jeremy, I want to show you guys this.
No.
I don't know how many of you follow this kind of stuff, but I'm a nerd. Like,
Yeah,
that's
you are.
a capital N nerd.
It's okay.
So gas stations. Well, if we have all these electric vehicles running around, what do you think they're going to do? Look at this. Guess what the roof looks like?
It's
solar.
It's solar.
Guess who makes the solar?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Tesla.
Guess what happens as far as batteries that are charging this? They have storage. Those batteries, they're Tesla batteries. This is going to completely change. Everybody's in here watching Netflix. Now, all you have to have is a Sonic for somebody to come out and, bring you some burgers or whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
we
that does
could-
look like a
maybe we
Sonic.
get
Completely
maybe we get
changes how
something
people
like
are-
Sonic but better.
What was that?
I
Kevin?
said we need something like Sonic but better,
Yeah.
like
Well, and
a
if it's-
Sonic for millennials.
Yes.
With
Yeah.
avocado
Sonic's
toast.
not very good. Oh my gosh, it's horrible.
What about the airport and Coda could not do, Tesla will do? So here's the thing about
Good question.
why so many of these. So I watched this. I'm doing a reaction video to this. Is Texas turning into California video? I think CNBC put it out. So I'm doing a reaction video to that. But they were talking about the fact that the executive airport being up by Manor. It's out by Manor, right? Between Pflugerville and Manor.
and Manor. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why a lot of these tech billionaires are moving here and bringing their companies here because they can fly with ease in and out of that airport. So that doesn't do much for Coda or the airport. But as far as like gentrification for the airport over there, I mean, that land used to be just nothing but vacant land. And now you have Coda there. Tesla's putting in there. So I think you'll see other, the data factories out there. So you start seeing other businesses try to swoop in and grab up that land. In fact, I was part of the group that was trying to bring Amazon and buy over in that same area. Amazon didn't come out here. So
Easy question. How many jobs is Coda creating? And how many jobs is the airport creating? The airport, I'm assuming, creates many more. But is it fun? Do you have people that are like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to move there to work for the airport? No offense, airports.
Let's solve this with data.
Yeah, I was actually looking it up right now. There's like 5 jobs at Circuit of the Americas right now.
I'm a capital in nerd too, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Samsung might be adding the factory too. Hey, Katie, what are they getting in Houston?
Tacos.
Tacos
I was
and
going to say
avocado
something. I'm
toast.
not going to say it.
No, okay. Also, just funny side note, Elon Musk and I have the same birthday.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
So-
we're meeting.
So are you
we're
also
muting
50?
Katie again.
I'm just kidding. Take that back. Undo that.
I'm actually 85. I've just
There
can't
you
tell.
go. I love that.
So,
What a way to spin it.
Coda-
anyways,
Coda is Circuit of the wrong one. Coda is Circuit of the Americas, the racetrack.
I just think Coda was a little too far ahead of its time, honestly. Like,
It is.
we just weren't ready for that being so far out. I mean, it's in the middle of a cow pasture, bro.
Right.
Yeah, but they got how much would they have paid for the land? Next to nothing.
Yeah, but have you ever been there for an event? I mean, you have to
A
ride
ton.
in people's, you have to park 5 miles away and ride in the back of somebody's truck to get to the front gate.
Yeah, go-karts. I go for the go-karts, man. But they do have, you're right. There is a lot of nothing until you get there, but that's not going to be for very long.
No, you're right. They did
Yeah.
try to build like condos out there. Are they still doing that?
No, but I know KB is building out right next to it.
Oh, really?
A bunch
Yeah.
of people are building that.
Asante.
Yeah.
So Katie, the answer is you're getting HP. That's it. So,
yeah, I mean, thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh, hell, appreciate you.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Coda is the only place in the United States that does F1. So there's no other F1 in the United States or every other country. And then also MotoGP.
Man, I
So
love
if you're into
MotoGP.
motorcycles or fast cars, they're both at Coda.
They used to race at Laguna Seca and then Indianapolis as well, but their Indianapolis track was so boring. This is this track is actually super awesome. That's what people don't also understand is like Coda is one of the most technical racing tracks in the world. It's super technical, which is why some drivers hate it and some drivers love it.
It's technical, and if you think you're good, you can bring your own motorcycle. You can bring your own car to drive on that.
Heck, you can
That's
even
a lot of fun.
you can even run it on your feet
Find
too.
every waiver.
Actually,
Katie,
they do cycling there every Tuesday night, don't they?
And Cars and Coffee is done there now.
Yeah, Katie's there on the weekends all the time. She loves to drive into Austin at 3
What'd you
hours.
say, Kevin?
You can take your bike there Tuesday nights. You used to be able to on Tuesday nights. You could take your cycle out there and cycle the track.
Bicycle?
Yeah, like cycling.
Really?
Yeah,
Didn't know
I'm gonna
that
pull
one.
that thing up too. Because it was every Tuesday. Because Aaron was telling me about it.
Roland, trust me, I'm not sleeping on H-Town at all. I've been there a couple times, and that was enough. So,
Yeah, Ian, circuitoftheamericas.com/bike is bike night every Tuesday at 6 p.m. You register, you bring your bike,
I'll
ped
do
cycle there and ride it.
I used to go to the Veloway, but Coda would be so much cooler.
I'm bringing my BMX bike. I'll tell you what.
I'll bring one too. I'm with you.
Oh my gosh. A real estate channel is all about mountain biking now. So Facade, hold on. I want to get to this one. He said that he works for Tesla and moved out for Tesla specifically. Your conversation couldn't make me any happier. Please tell us why. We would love to get your take. In fact, I'll send you a link. Jump on. Literally, I'll send you the link right now. Email me to my jeremy@austinitehomes.com and I'll send you the link right now. I would love to have you on the stream. What's up? Come on, buddy. Go ahead, guys.
What are we supposed to be talking about? You just cut me off. I can't talk about bikes anymore.
Go ahead, talk about bikes. I have somebody I need to say goodnight to.
No, I found a picture of my college bicycle. I just want to make sure it still existed.
You're talking about BMX?
Yeah, man, I rode a GT Dyno VFR to and from class. I got made fun of so bad for that. Like, you're a grown person riding a BMX bike. You're not 7. Like, get off my back. You're all the way on my back. Get off of it.
So I'm back, but just so everybody knows, Beyonce's from Houston.
She doesn't stay there now.
Hey, let's take a few minutes to say some good things about Houston. I feel like it's
Jeremy's incapable of doing so.
Good things about Houston.
So it's Katie sell.
Hold on. Here, good things about Houston. Google.
Oh
Your
God!
Search returned 0 results.
So I appreciate that Katie can come on and take the abuse. That's why I would never bring anybody else on because, the Astros suck. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't even really know Kevin, and Kevin's just like going in on Houston. So I appreciate you, man. Like,
I was there one time. It was so hot. I had to leave.
Yeah.
We were there demucking homes and bringing supplies. Kevin, remember that?
Yeah. No, we did, didn't we? That's right.
We did. Yeah, we our first time broing out, we took a 3-hour drive to Houston to bring you a ton of supplies during Harvey. Then we drove our behinds back, picked up some fans, I don't even know where, and then drove them right on back. Well, I don't remember what city we were in, but then we drove a bunch of fans back to help y'all in Houston because it flooded. So
shout out to people that raised money for that.
Yeah, thank you for everybody. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun experience. And then we went down later with a bunch of people in my brokerage and demucked some homes and had fun. So Katie Day, welcome back.
I still haven't seen this list. I still haven't seen anything that Austin doesn't have. I'm sorry. I'm really trying here.
Yeah. So Katie, for anybody that's considering Houston versus Austin, I know we've done this before on my channel, but give us your best pitch.
You can actually find a house here.
We've muted her. She's gone. I'm just kidding. All right. No, go ahead. You can buy a house there.
You can actually find a house here. Yeah.
What's the median price though?
The median price is like right now.
You can find out.
You have to Google it? Come on, Katie. I thought you were the expert.
It changes so fast.
Shit, man. So the median price for February was $275,900.
Wow. Austin was what, 438, 440?
Yeah.
So
that was Austin 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was Austin. Here's the craziest part. Like all these people that are like, oh, it's too expensive to buy now. Oh, whatever. I bought my first house for $275 in Austin, 2013. But if I would have, and then I bought my next house for almost double that. And that house since 2018 literally has doubled in price. Mm-hmm. So all of this, you should wait to buy we talked about this earlier with Kevin brought it up, but all this talk about, you should wait or the bubble's coming or it's going to crash. We're talking about all the tweets Elon puts out, 10,000 jobs from them alone. If you really think Austin's going to crash, I have a bridge to sell you somewhere because I just can't see it. I've tried, I've got eviscerated on Kristina Smallhorn's channel for saying that I don't see it going to happen. And all these people said, this guy from Texas isn't what the hell he's talking about. And then Kristina put out a mea culpa video this week saying, it's not going to crash. I'm so sorry for telling everybody. And then guess what? Javier Vidania did the same thing. So all these YouTubers that are out there that are like, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. Yeah, guys are selling smoke. It's not going to crash. I'm sorry. The realtor is saying it's not going to crash. Fine. Say that I'm the realtor that's saying it's not going to crash. If it does, how much are you really going to lose? You don't lose. Kevin, I had this conversation. You don't lose until you sell.
It's also very different markets, right? Kristina's in the middle of, Louisiana. There's like not much there, right?
But Katie is hold on. Katie,
and Javier is in Arizona.
It doesn't matter. Katie, you're in Houston. Do you see the Houston market crashing anytime soon?
No.
Tell
Honestly,
us
no. I mean,
why.
and so yeah, I mean, like to back that up a little bit with some actual like fact, right? So like as I said earlier, like inventory is down 55% year over year. So even if, like what would that constitute? Foreclosures, like things happening, like, and we've said this before, Jeremy, like even if like forbearance runs out and we start to see foreclosures, like that unfortunately would be welcome inventory in the market, right? Like, so, I think, and then as we were talking before, pension funds and REITs purchasing up properties, like that's what happened back in 08, 09, 10, which has formed institutional, rental companies like American Homes for Rent, Progress Residential, Invitation Homes, things like that. So no, I don't see it happening. Will prices soften? Yes, they will. I think as interest rates increase, right? So as the economy gets better as a whole, interest rates will increase and we'll see less purchasing power. So then prices will soften some because less people will be buying. But as far as a crash, like homeowners have too much equity in their homes now to just walk away. I don't think we're going to see a wave of foreclosures, and we don't have that many homes to sell. So those are my three.
Gentlemen, wait to buy or buy now. If you can buy right now. I'm not saying there's a lot of people who are on the sidelines that can't purchase right now, right? And I'm not saying, oh, you have to put yourself in a bad situation. But if you're in the position to purchase right now, do you wait? I mean, we're talking about some very big tweets that are make very big waves in Austin and in Texas. Go ahead.
My thought right now is if you can get something for less than 10% over asking price, assuming that it's comped well, you're probably in a good spot. That's my thought, just looking at the numbers, looking at how everything is comping out, how quickly it's growing. We're still at the bottom of the bell curve. I know it's not slowing down, but also you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're quote unquote overpaying. I say quote unquote. If you're going to be in there for 20 years, you're not overpaying. If you're going to be in there for 1 year, that's a different story, right?
Right.
I don't like the word overpaying. I use the word,
the
term absorbing equity.
There you go. Absorbing equity. If you're, I love that because you have to think about it that way. If you did want to go and sell it later, you're going to pay, there's a cost to sell. Yeah. But if you're going to hold on to it as a rental, or if you're going to hold on to it and live in it, that equity absorption it's fine. It'll take care of itself rather quickly.
I wonder I don't think that it does, but I think if your budget is anywhere between 0 and infinity, I think you should buy right now. But no, I'm
sure.
I'm
okay,
saying,
so here's the question, Kevin. If it's a $300,000 house, but offers going at $800,000, that's what I mean. Like that's not real. I don't see that being the right move for most people, and they're starting to hit astronomical numbers.
Does the next house sell for 900? That's the question.
Yes, I think it does.
Yeah, that is a good question.
But if you look, that's what you and I, Jeremy, were talking about earlier. If you look back at all the people that said that they got burned in the housing crisis of 2008, there are two reasons. I'm not trying to downplay that actually happened to some folks that was really bad. I understand you may have lost a job, but if you panic sold after the crash, that was your fault. Like you could have held on to that asset, lived in it or rented it out, and now you'd actually be even or ahead on equity plus, you'd be even or ahead on value, plus you'd be ahead on equity because you would have been building equity, paying off payments for the last 10, 12, 13 years. So when I look at the long term, and I've mentioned this many times on this stream, if you're going to own a home for 10 or 20 or 30 years, which I know rarely people do, but 10 or 20 years, I don't know that it matters much that you buy between now and next year. But if you knew that it was going to not matter, then why wouldn't you be buying now anyway? Like, are you going to be renting during that time? Do you have a better place to employ that capital for the next 12 months that's going to make you more money than the difference in what you're going to pay? Because you're going to pay higher interest rates next year, and you might or might not be paying the same or more for the house. So I think there's too many unknowns to set up definitively, but you know what the knowns are right now. That's why if somebody asks me what if they should buy or sell right now, you know what you know right now. So based on the data right now, what do you feel comfortable doing? Buying and selling? Then do that.
Yeah. Someone says,
but I think so. Hold on, this Silverman comment. You do the same thing in Austin, sweating between the parking lot and the office. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that's Bastrop.
Yeah, that's Bastrop weather. So Prasad answered the questions. Moving from Pennsylvania, Texas offers way more opportunities for what my wife and I want to do. I mean, unless it snows for those like two or 4 days. Yeah. Like it did here. Elon moving from California, I think, shows that he's willing to make massive investments in the Gigafactory. And then here's my favorite, because I know Kevin and I both have orders, and I think Katie's in on an order. We talked her into it. She's getting hers wrapped in the Texas flag, and it's going to say it's a Texas thing, y'all. But she's getting the Cybertruck as well. So,
bro, I'm putting horns.
You don't even have to wrap those. You can get it laser etched in those now.
Oh, you can.
Oh, so that
I'm putting Longhorns on my hood, by the way, on my Cybertruck. Just like an old Cadillac style ones that'll cover
a good one
for all the entire front of the grill, and it's going to have a 10-inch lift with 40-inch tires. Just you wait.
Yeah, that's the Houston version, right?
That's more like I guess that would be the Houston version.
I feel like that would be like the Dallas version.
Yeah, North Dallas, where I just was.
I don't know. Every time I drive to Houston, you're correct, Katie. But every time I've driven to Houston, in fact, there's that whole TV show, Texas Metal. The guy builds those big lifted trucks with the crazy tires and everything. So,
and is that located in Houston?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really watch TV, so sorry.
I don't either. That's why I said big wheels and things.
Who watches TV anymore anyway?
Yeah, I cut the cable. I have YouTube TV now, so all I do is watch myself on replay. While we're talking tech companies, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the future of real estate, thoughts on newer brokerages versus existing. Oh, this is going to get heated right here. How do individual agents, small firms compete? I'm going to say the best brokerage to look out for coming up is Real Broker. Boom. Real Broker.
Real Broker.
Yeah.
Real Broker.
Katie, any insights on Real Broker for you? What do you think?
No, I mean, the model's definitely interesting for sure. Seeing as I'm at a existing brokerage. No, I mean, I think that there's more than enough real estate out there for like everything to exist. But I think the small firms that don't continue to pivot and, embrace technology and things like that, those won't exist, right? The firms that sell 10 homes a year, the brokers that they're a broker owner, those won't exist, but you'll have, the larger, kind of old school companies that continue to pivot some. You'll have the newer companies like Real and other, kind of more tech-based companies. And, those will all kind of continue to exist.
So along the same line, so Avik right here, hello, my friend. It's not going to crash. Tech companies, not all techies have not all come yet. Sorry, one eye. They are planning to. So this is a small pivot to what we're talking about, though. So right now in our market, it is so incredibly tough to get buyers in our contract. It's maybe not the same in Houston, but I want to get everyone's opinion, including Katie. How many realtors do you think will be out of a job by the end of the year? I mean, 80% of realtors are out of their job the first 2 years anyway. But how do you think that this, especially in Austin and other markets, do you think this puts pressure on a lot of agents who are cutting their commissions and doing all this other stuff they're trying to do that aren't actively trying to find clients? Do you think it pushes a lot of them out of business? I mean, we're talking about brokerages, so it kind of fits to it.
Who's answering, Katie?
Sorry, I just got an email that I was reading.
Oh my gosh, totally off.
And half the time, Jeremy, when you speak, I actually don't even listen to what you're saying. So,
that's the better answer.
Yeah,
the problem is she's so enamored by how beautiful all of this is that she's just like,
the background, yeah, it's nice.
I know, right?
But
exactly. That's why I put it
nice.
up.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah,
Jeremy, what do you think about the future of agents and brokerages? We want to hear your take.
I think this year alone, so you have a lot of those companies that are going to come back in and take advantage of the fact, like last year, March, April, May, a lot of these companies that were like discounting heavily, they were not they were nowhere around. In fact, a lot of these like ones that purchase your property and then sell it, they weren't around. Now they're coming back in full force. You have big companies, like big corporations buying up property. I think you're going to see a ton of agents out of a job. I think we're going to see a ton of agents out of a job because, I mean, let's be honest. I wrote 23 offers this week, 24 offers this week, and put 6 under contract. I mean, that's me alone, but like other people, if I ask other people, how many people did you put under contract? How many homes did you get for your clients? The answer is that I wrote multiple offers and lost out on almost all of them.
I've even heard it the other way. I've heard it where people are starved, like they can't figure it out. There are a lot of realtors out here that cannot figure it out. They can't get any, they can't find clients because they're too busy running around. And, it's just really, really challenging. I'm hoping, this is bold. This is me. I'm probably going to get some backlash for this. I'm hoping half are gone.
Yep. I'm with you.
I don't want people who aren't serious about growing it as a career and actually learning what not to do or what to do. And sure, you're going to have your investor types and such, and that's fine. But there are a lot of people that don't respect the work it takes. And I hope it, dries out the pond just a little bit.
And that's not a bad thing because the barrier to entry is technically pretty low. And now that
right now, yeah.
Like if you were sitting having a beer with your friends and you're like, hey, I just got my real estate license. Can I sell your house? Like I'm interacting with quite a few of those people right now on listings. Mm-hmm. And that they don't know what's going on. They don't have any idea what process is or like how exposed their clients are in contract negotiations by not doing things the way we're supposed to be doing. So I'm a little concerned, but that's also the I think natural progression for real estate generally is as you move more towards technology and more independence of the brokerages and the listings and selling homes and sellers trying to go direct to buyers and cut out the middleman here. I think you're going to get a lot less professionalism in that regard. So I don't think traditional brokerages are going to go away. I still have a lot of clients that ask if I work for a big broker, and because they like the name sometimes. I'm like, I listed with so-and-so. But yeah, it's definitely going to change. It's just not going to be anytime soon. I'm
going to let Katie hit the last word here, and then I'm going to bounce her out. She's got to take care of some business. So
get the heck out of here.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Katie, as far as agents in this year?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to agree with what hate to agree with what Ian said, but I mean, I don't disagree with what Ian said. I mean, I think that whether you're at, a tech-enabled brokerage, whether you're at a cloud-based brokerage, whether you're at a traditional brokerage or whatever, like I would say that the most important thing is, working with someone that's full-time that does this frequently, right? Because there are far too many people that, got drunk at the bar, decided to get their real estate license and sell 2 homes a year, Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, that would be my 2 cents.
Cool. All right. Everybody say goodbye to Katie. She's got to go. We hate to see her go. I was having so much fun making fun of Houston. We'll do it again. It'll be the night day podcast though.
Yeah. You can still make fun of Houston when I'm not here. It still hits the same, but
Yeah, it feels good. All right. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Katie. How Kevin, you were like, look up Coda Bike Night. I typed in KNI. I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. It's subliminal now.
Yeah.
Making fun of Houston, though, let's be honest, is like making fun of your brother and sister. Like you still love them, because they're family. But at the same time, you kind of wish that they'd fall in their face every once in a while, chip a tooth.
Especially when they cheat in a World Series. All right. 2008 crash didn't hit Austin as hard. That's actually a fact. I think our total change was like down 12%. And this is why I keep going back to this same thing, is that all these people that said, keep saying it's going to crash. I mean, Kevin and I just said this like on a phone call earlier. And since 2015, all I've heard every single year, 2015 is the year it's going to crash. 16, this year is going to crash. 17, this year is going to crash. Here is why. And it's plain and simple. Granted, we have to have a lot of things happen in order, like we were talking about. We have to have foreclosures hit. We have to have interest rates spike to a level that people can afford. And we have to have all these companies leave. But here is my biggest reason why we will not see it. In 2008, we only turned about 12%. in 2008, 9, and 10, we stopped building homes. So what happened is inventory started to dry out. When I went to go buy a home in 2013, I had to beat out 7 offers in 2013. I got into real estate in 2015, and almost every offer we write since 2015 has been multiple offers. So partly the reason is we've had such a shortage in building. Now we are in 2021. What has happened in the last year, and what do we keep talking about on my channel and in my videos, is these builders are not able to keep up with demand. They're having, somebody commented on my last builder video, and they said the builder in this area had to cancel 21 contracts because the price of lumber went up, so they had to cancel them and raise prices. Right? So builder inventory is not there. I mean, I just talked to Kevin yesterday about how disappointed I was in a neighborhood we both thought would be a great secret neighborhood we should talk about. Mm-hmm. In fact, I shushed Kevin not to talk about this neighborhood, and I went in there and I was so disappointed. I literally was I had a meeting and I was so disappointed. I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to, talk bad about this community on the channel, but just so disappointed in what they were doing. So anyway, Ian,
I had that call today about a client, a builder called me about one of our mutual clients, and she goes, I don't know how to tell him, tell them, hopefully they're in a okay place where they don't have to move for another, I don't know, 2 or 5 months. She said, I have no idea. I'm going to find out tomorrow, but can you go over it with him just to make him feel a little better, just to calm him down before I talk to him? Give him that little pre-push. And I'm thinking, you don't know how long. So he's still going to have a house, or they're still going to have a house. She just has no idea when it'll be finished.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's the second part of this bad equation is that, number one, labor prices are going up in lumber. But the caveat to that is that there's not enough labor. So that's why costs are going up as well. It's costing them more to pay for labor because, let's be honest, a lot of people are still taking unemployment and not going back to work. They would rather take unemployment and instead of go work in frame houses.
It's because Elon Musk was like, hey, guess what? You can come do this cush desk job. You don't need any kind of degree.
Yeah. If Elon offered, seriously, if I was between the two jobs, build homes or go build cars for Tesla and get stock, I'd go build cars for Tesla and get stock.
I've got tons of contingency plans, just so you know.
Oh yeah, same.
Yes.
Real Migos is one of them. Pushing just our mullet cup. That's it.
You might see us throwing boxes at UPS from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m., pushing lattes from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m., and then putting car seats in a Model Y after that.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Freddie Reyes, do any of you guys currently own Teslas?
A couple of us do.
I do not own a Tesla.
Ian, don't you have a what's that model you have?
Cybertruck on order.
Yeah, me too. We all have Cybertrucks on order, I think. I have a Model Y. Ian has a Model Y. So yeah, Teslas. Look, and here's the thing is I
love that next question.
We'll get to it. I don't want people to think I'm a Tesla homer, right? I don't foam over. I'm not one of those that. I'm not one of those people that follows every single Elon tweet or talks about Tesla all day. I really don't, right? I'm not one of those people. I bought that car out of convenience. That's the entire reason I purchased that vehicle. So I'm not one of those crazy people that's all Tesla this, Tesla that, but I did buy a ton of stock. So anyway, can Tesla even sell Cybertrucks in Texas yet?
So the plant's not finished, right? But I think the question alludes more to, if it is finished, are they allowed to do it? Because that was a big fight in Michigan. It was in Michigan because it wasn't. You have to go through a dealer in some states, and I think that was a big concern. So what Tesla did when we picked up our Y is they just had all of the information, so you can register online, and was actually bought out of California. Technically.
Am I making something up that said that they would drive them to like the border and then come back? Is that right?
To. As the way our state legislation is currently, you can't. That's why. Yeah,
that's what our government's good for.
Yeah. So
stupid ass laws like that.
I was gonna say the whole Tesla fanboy thing, capital N nerd, right? just think about how much maintenance and things you're saving. How much does gas cost? How much, there's a lot more to it than just, I drive a Tesla. Like I'm with Jeremy. That's kind of like that's really frustrating and pretentious. And I don't like that, but it's cool. So I'm going to leave it at that. And there's a lot more to it. It's very deep. Tesla is not a car company, right? Tesla makes cars, but they're an energy company. They have cars. They're going to be HVAC. They're going to be all these other things. So it's just a really cool company to follow.
Yeah, for sure. We have so many good topics, don't we?
Yeah. So hi from Alaska. Appreciate all your info and input. Enjoyed Sarah Morris. I love Sarah Morris. In fact, I almost had Sarah on tonight on past shows. Question: beyond the personalities, is there much difference between top local lenders like CMG? I would say my biggest thing is you need to make sure whoever you're using as a local lender or as your lender, make sure they're going to be responsive. That's the biggest thing in the whole piece of the pie. It could be the difference between you getting a home. I know people really dwell on rate. Look, I'm one of those people. I buy investment properties. I dwell on rate, but the ability to make sure that person is doing their job, getting it done for you and closing on time, that in this crazy market, a couple percentage points that can make the difference of you actually closing and being in that home. So as far as top local lenders, I think there's quite a few really good ones. But I think Sarah is one of my top. Anyway, what do you guys think?
I mean, this is a perfect question because I think a lot of people have that question. It's no different from realtors or insurance providers. Do you feel like you are being taken care of, period? Right? Like the rate matters, but I'm not going to say you always get what you pay for, because the company is just that. It's a company. It has a name. It might have a set rate, but all of the people that are working and tied to that name, you have to decide if they're good for your situation, right? So rate's a small part of the overall experience. If you're going to miss your closing date, who cares what the rate is? You just failed. To be blunt about it. Sorry.
Okay. So, did you have any other feedback on that, Kevin, or do you just concur?
I mean, cool. I think it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, it does in this market. I think the current state of our market, I think it does make a difference for you to be competitive with the local lender, because that goes a long way. Not saying that you can't get a deal done with Chase or Quicken or Bank of America, but they're kind of been frowned upon because they have had a history of not delivering in the past. So if you want to be competitive, yeah, I think you should be at least considering some local lenders. But I don't think of all the local ones, I don't know if I've had like an unacceptable experience with any local lender has a decent reputation.
Yep.
Better than others.
So this question right here, last year, April Roosevelt at Cantera Meadows sold for, I think maybe that's the floor plan Roosevelt, 325. Today sold at 475. Bid doesn't get you one that 50% above sustainable against fundamental or any investing.
Yeah, but look at where that is, though. Look at where Cantera is and what's going on around that area right now.
Explain.
I mean, there's tons of development going on in Cantera. I would literally just drove by there yesterday, and every corner that's over there, because it's pretty bare, right? There's just a lot of land out there relative, but that's where the East Village development's going in, and every piece of open land there is now commercially available for sale, and every one is under contract right now. That's listed. I mean, some of them might be off market, but anything that's listed is all under contract. So that if that tells you why those houses are going for that much, is because that place is the powder keg right now, and I think it is sustainable.
Yeah, I put a video on my channel and it talks about around Tesla. So take this same thing around Tesla. Homes have appreciated. Homes are selling for double what they were 1 year ago. Into discussion, right? Like, and it's because people hear Tesla, people see the tweets, and they get so excited. They heard Tesla was making, building a factory in Austin. Didn't even think about it. Boom, let me go and buy a house right there. So same thing with Cantara Meadows and East Village and Apple and all these other places.
Yeah, Samsung, anything that's around there, just follow the money is what you need to do if you're investing. Now, you're not going to get, I'm sorry if you're, okay, it's not sustainable. Yeah, the fundamentals of investing, you're not going to double your money every single year for all of eternity. I'm sorry. If you're investing in Austin now, you're getting in at a good time. But the reality is you missed 25% year-over-year growth for the last 2 years. You can't do anything about that. It's over. Okay.
Maybe well, it's one thing to double your money every year, but you got to be able to sell to make that money. So at what point do you actually sell?
I don't think you sell ever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like if you're talking about doubling, but if you're talking about doubling
sales prices.
Right. But none of your equity is realized until you either one, pull out an equity loan or you sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but your income increases as you hold the asset.
Right. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you're talking about, your property value is doubling. We're talking about doubling. It doesn't matter how high a property goes. You're not going to realize that gain until you actually sell it, is my point. Or you pull out a loan against it.
Yep.
I think maybe if I can interpret that differently from a buying standpoint, he's seeing homes in that neighborhood and he wants to be there.
Yeah.
And he's frustrated that he can't get a home at the price that last year was $325. Like, stop. Okay. Don't stop thinking about what it was last year. Right.
Yeah.
Stop thinking about, what Apple stock was like when in the 2008 housing market crash or whatever. I sat at my computer and watched the stock tickers. I could have purchased Apple for $30 a share and Caterpillar for $17 a share or whatever it was, 34. I think some of these big companies are like $18, $20, $30 a share. You cannot go back and buy those assets in. Same with these houses. If you're worried about the way prices have gone from last year to this year in this market and you're buying now, then why in the world would you wait to see what it does next year and have the same conversation with yourself? Like today is that time to not wait.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing here. Last year, 315K, now 460, because I think Silverman said that they had purchased last year in an earlier comment. I want to go to this question real quick, or this comment, because I actually had a client that just closed with. Actually, I don't want to say because I don't want them to get mad at me. First, I'm not getting your notifications. Bummer. I'm sorry, Big Mama. Second, you gotta hit the bell, comment and subscribe and like. And second, are closing costs generally higher on a new build for the buyer? So I had a client who just closed with a company. They use ultimately a lot of times you're gonna use the builder's lenders, but the difference in all the savings that they got was only about $500 at all said and done at the end of the day. So it really wasn't, and they had a horrible time with that builder's lender, just unresponsive. Look, these builder's lenders, they're on volume. They're dealing with a lot of people, so it is hard for them to get back to you, and they don't really care about you really until 45 days out, and even then, it's kind of spotty. And that's not really a knock on them. It's just they are dealing on a high volume, and they know you're going to close. And if you don't close, they know they're going to get the buyer after you.
Or sell it for more.
Well, they're going to get the buyer after you and make more.
Oh, the buyer after you. Sorry.
Right. Because the builder's still incentivizing them. Silverman says, Big Mama closed last year. The builder's preferred lender did not see any difference in closing costs between preferred lender and the other lender. So there you go. All right. So where were we before that? Sorry, Big Mama, I hadn't seen her all night. I just wanted to get her on the show. I'm sorry.
Get her on the show.
Yeah.
Are you gonna sing it?
I mean, that's important. That's just important for people that really do like the show and they want notifications. If they just press the bell anytime the show is coming on or created, then you'll get a notification on your phone.
You don't want to miss Jeremy's smiling face, do you?
Or my tirades, or when I get too drunk on the show and then people complain that I get too drunk on the show. Yeah. If you have a 10-year time horizon for investing, I should read it right here. If you have a 10-year time horizon for investing, it's obvious Austin real estate is a no-brainer investment today. I mean,
I like that 10-year time. Yes.
Yeah.
10 years. I don't see how you can lose.
Yeah. And somebody even earlier had mentioned that they'd opened up their search to New Braunfels earlier. I think I clicked on it, but I didn't talk about it. I mean, that's the thing. I personally looked at the Austin market and said, okay, where is the carryover going to be?
Mm-hmm.
Where can I, as an investor, purchase? And there was still availability in New Braunfels, which is crazy. Is Rad, who I was like, hey, Rad, where do I need to buy in New Braunfels? And he's like, buy here is the only place allowing investors. So he helped me out there. But the price of that home, I went under contract 2.5 months ago, has already gone up $30,000.
Yeah. I'm
all in at $330 on that property. As an investor, it's going to rent really well. If I try to buy that same one, it's actually like $375 is what they're $380, I think, is what they're. So it's more than $30,000. Isn't that crazy?
In New Braunfels.
And New Braunfels.
All you've got there is Schlitterbahn.
No way. New Braunfels is awesome.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing around.
No. Yeah.
Have you been there?
Dude.
Yeah,
Green is gorgeous.
Green
I
is
love
beautiful.
Green.
It is. And you're real close to San Antonio.
Yeah. They have a Black Rifle coffee over there.
We know that they have a Black Rifle coffee.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My it's funny. Who was Tim Macy was on the show one time, and he was going back and forth talking about how great Black Rifle coffee was in the show. People were like, what is going on? Anyway, moving on. Who's complaining? I have no idea who's complaining. What else do we have? So any other insights on Elon's tweets before we keep moving on to some of these comments?
Yeah, one of the things that you said is what's going to grow, like what direction. So if we know SpaceX is both east and south, east you have Houston. So I think it's important to pay attention to what's happening between Houston and Austin. I think that's important. Any of the major cities between San Antonio and Austin, which is where New Braunfels is, and between Houston and Austin, which is where Bastrop is. I think those are going to be really interesting plays.
I'm doing a video on Lago Vista. It's coming out this week. Finally, everybody's been asking me for it. Lago Vista. So I didn't want to do just a whole 8 minutes on Lago Vista. I don't think I could.
Yes, you can. There's enough out there.
I could, but it would be me driving around through hills and looking at a lake. I mean, so I'm going to do Lago Vista versus Bastrop because everybody's asking me for it. So here we go. Oh. You're going to see 18 comments from Master Jedi now. He's so excited. So like the reason why I chose those two is everybody asks me because they're kind of pushed out. But I think the one area that's well overlooked is Bastrop. Mm-hmm. I think it's well overlooked. So my video started out with being the most underrated places to live. That's what I was going to do. And Kevin, I was going to talk about that East, what was that? East Village?
Yeah.
I was actually going to put that on there because I kind of made some weird comment about that East Palmer area. And somebody actually asked another follow-up question, like why I said that. And the reality is I had a really bad transaction over there and just put a bad taste in my mouth in that area. That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's my entire reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. One bad transaction can really turn your mind on something. So
no, I totally get it. I understand that for sure.
But I think Bastrop, honestly, here's the two areas I think there'd be the most three areas that are going to be the most underrated places to purchase. Number one is Manor, but I don't want to say Manor is underrated because we've talked about it at length on this show. I think Bastrop is the next most underrated place to buy. And the third is Kyle. I think those are my three most underrated places because Kyle really is not that far. You jump on the toll road, you're maybe 30 minutes to Tesla if you're going to live there or you're going to work there or SpaceX or whatever. So Kyle and then Bastrop, same thing. Bastrop's not even 30 minutes to SpaceX. So those areas right there are going to see a huge boom, especially when Kyle puts in their Uptown project on the east side or west side. That's going to be huge. So anyway, oh my God, Master Jedi. You're welcome. Master Jedi, how about I call you this week? We'll do an interview of you about why you love Bastrop so much and we'll throw it in. Yep. See, Kyle's blown up to you. Anyway, you had more comments, didn't you? Somebody?
I mean, always.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian.
I don't want to say him after you said how much you love Kyle and
talk crap about Kyle. You're going to talk crap about Kyle. I get it.
No. So here's what I'm going to say about it. If you're talking about driving to the manufacturing plant of Tesla, then yes, south works. If you're talking about driving to middle management, some of the office workers, and manufacturing plant, you're actually looking north, right? Because that's where they're going to be putting some of their office space. So if you're south, you can't make it up there in any reasonable time, because right at the river, the congestion is horrific. If you've ever driven in LA traffic, New York traffic, Chicago traffic, Orlando traffic, there's just like a little spot right on 35 across the river, Town Lake or Lady Bird Lake, depending on when you moved here, that it's real tough. And you do not want to have to drive through there. If you're working remote, different story.
Yeah. I mean, and here's Prasad coming back. Tesla employee, he threw it out there. I have a theory: places that 30 to 50 miles from downtown will appreciate much faster than city limit property due to the proliferation of self-driving technology. Look, Circle C, somebody talked about Circle C, about schools, where'd it go? Right here. Mm-hmm. Circle C, literally my house has doubled in value in 2 years. 3 years, doubled in value in 3 years. So I think areas like Circle C, which are kind of at the edge of Austin, are also in that. What are you laughing at, dude?
I'm not laughing at you. Go keep going.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just flipping through Bastrop pictures, and somebody posted pictures of a house, like obviously from their cell phone, of an absolutely messy kitchen, and their daughter is smiling in the lower right-hand corner.
I saw a really funny one, MLS photo where the cat was sitting in the middle of the photo. I'm like, this is $1 million listing, and there's a cat in the middle of it.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, shouldn't they tell them that their daughter's in MLS? It's kind of strange.
If they already have pictures of their family on the wall, then their pictures are in the MLS.
Oh, that's right.
People don't think about that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually seen pictures of like kids like at the creek. Like, they're trying to show off their creek and the kids are in the picture. I've seen that. It's like,
no, that's what this was. The girl was in the picture in the living room.
Mark says that Bastrop is already seeing a weird boom. Yeah. I mean, I put a client under contract in Double Eagle Ridge for 530. Oh, they closed. And now you're at probably 660 in that same neighborhood. And they closed in February.
26 some lots in Bastrop with the client this past weekend, and this darn Houston toad, endangered species. You can't actually build anything, so the land just has to sit there in some of these places. So keep that in mind when you're looking at Bastrop, people.
There's only 26 homes on the market in Bastrop right now.
While we talk about Manor and Bastrop and all these places, I think that if you had to give me, and I'm saying this, and I want to get your opinions on this. Uh-oh. If you still had, if I, hold on, how do I say this? My number one place to buy a home if I'm going to live out here is still 78704 in the Zilker Park area, Bowling Creek. Do you agree with me? Would you rather live there or move out to Bastrop?
Oh man, is that a question?
Yeah, that's cheating.
Yeah,
I kid you not. We looked at a 400 and how many square feet was that? Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna pull this up because I want to look at it. I looked at a 427 square foot condo today.
In 78704?
No, and on Rainy. But
on Rainy, yeah.
They called it a one bath, which is actually a lie.
Which complex was it?
70 Rainy.
70 Rainy.
Mm-hmm.
I showed one that was on the north side. It had a really weird balcony. I swear I felt like I was going to fall into traffic.
Well, the thing about this is though, like this is just my opinion on it. If it met your needs, it was $380,000, right, for 427 square feet. But to answer your question, if that met my needs, I would 100% rather buy this and live in 427 square feet and be right there. Yeah.
It completely depends on your living circumstance. If you have 3 kids, you're not putting them in 427.
I mean, you can.
Well, you could buy them all condos and then you just.
No, you just have them all in the same room together.
That's true. Until a certain age and gender and all that. It becomes interesting.
Lily Bell says Rollingwood and Eanes is better than Zilker. I mean, if Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue with you there. I mean, but if you wanted to live that kind of like walkability and enjoy like what Austin is, I'm going to live in Zilker or
Yeah, and
Bowling Creek.
She said Eanes, assuming school district. What if you don't have
Yeah,
kids?
I'm not talking about school. I'm just saying if
Right.
I had a place to live, all things
Yeah.
considered, I'm going to live in 04.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. Somewhere near downtown for sure. Not specifically 04, but yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how you live your life and what you do. There's so many variables to that.
Because I think parts of 78745 and 41 are just as cool of a replacement, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, it was a weird tangent because that person I showed up, we're working on a project right now in 04. So that's the reason why I compared Bastrop to 04. So it was a weird tangent. Sorry. No karaoke tonight and no Buffalo Trace. No, Robert, you're late to the game. We're taking it easy. We went with Pint House tonight.
The reason why there's no karaoke is because there's no Buffalo Trace. There's a correlation there.
There is.
Wait,
Yes,
I did not have any whiskey last week, and I sang. So
it's true.
Yeah. What was this? I sang "I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt" song. What did you sing?
Man, I feel like a woman. Shania Twain.
Yeah. Good times. Good times. All right. What do you think about townhomes at La Crosse?
La Crosse? Oh,
I'm so not a fan of them, but I mean,
they changed the floor plans, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I haven't seen the newer floor plans. I'm just not a fan that they're right there on 45. That's really my only thing, but I think they're a cool concept for sure.
I like them.
Okay. I don't dislike them, but I don't love that they're on like the 45.
But they're all pending right now.
There are. You can't buy one now.
No, and then that same little project over by the Starbucks in Oak Hill, that new condominium complex.
I try to get out-of-state buyers to buy over there. I told them how awesome of a location that would be, and then they just got scared about how crazy the market was, and we could have had them under contract there, and instead they bailed and didn't buy it all.
You know what though? I called early on because I thought the same thing. I was like, "Oh, I should buy one of those. That's kind of cool." And she told me the price, and at the time when she told me that, which was just last fall, I was like, "No, I'm not paying $650 to live in that corner in Oak Hill." And then boy, was I wrong. Because those are nice places too.
They are very nice places. I hear Parkside at Mayfield is fire.
That's near that Brushy Creek right there.
Yep. What do you think about Leander? I feel like we've done 19 videos.
I mean, how do we feel about Treviso?
Let's be fair to her. She may not have seen any of those.
Okay. You're right. We talk about Leander almost every single video. As far as like the areas that are now overrated to me, I'm almost the cusp of saying Leander is overrated just because there are other places to live. But that being said, I think Leander's a great place. Depending on where you live, there's really good school districts. It's 45 minutes from downtown at the most. And they have beautiful, beautiful places to live out in Grand Mesa, right on the golf course. So I think Leander's great.
Leander's square mileage is basically like even more if you include Cedar Park. It's more square mileage than the central Austin neighborhoods.
Yeah. I like what Silverman said about the Leander question. He said overrated or overpriced. The next one down.
Oh, yeah.
You said Leander. You said overrated, but he was asking if it's overrated or overpriced.
I don't believe in overpricing, just for the record.
Yeah.
I believe the market dictates the price.
Right. I think the market
dictates the price.
Yeah.
Over your budget, maybe.
Right. That's a big one. That's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's something that we're not necessarily fully considering too. That people that are moving here are all moving for Tesla. They're not all moving for a specific tech company that's here. There's quite a few people that are moving. They're being relocated. They don't have to work but maybe 2 days at the office downtown or wherever their office is. So they can be in Kyle. They can be in Leander. They can be in Georgetown. They can be in Gerald or Bertram, Bastrop, wherever. And and be fine living there because they only have to spend 2 days driving that long drive. So, or they can just work from home completely. So I think if we add that to the equation, yeah, Leander, if you did not have to drive into town, yes, Leander's a great place. A lot of really great restaurants being built or put in. They have that huge Costco complex, which is really Cedar Park, but it's kind of on the cusp. So yeah, there's a lot, and there's a ton of development continuing to go north. So if we looked at it that aspect, not how close it is to downtown, just location wise, yeah, Georgetown's great. Leander's great for that. I think Bastrop's going to be up and coming. Kyle could be up and coming if they get that uptown thing going. Pflugerville.
What are the chances that the quarry ever sells their 4,000 acres?
Ooh, wasn't Amazon was talking about that, or there were Amazon execs eyeballing the quarry some years ago, and then they chose Pflugerville.
33,000 or 3,300 acres. Imagine what we can do with that.
Ooh, what's the news on the lagoon? I missed it today.
What's that?
So the Crystal Lagoon?
No.
Or Crystal Springs, the Leander Lagoon is like a man-made beach.
Yeah, I saw it up here.
Leander Lagoon.
Like Singapore. Have any of you ever been to Singapore? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I was in Singapore, and there's a beach called Sentosa. It is the only
bruh.
there.
That looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
That looks like a place I definitely will not visit.
Yeah, right.
So Lewis says that he built in 2019 for $1 million, considering for 3.2 purchase price. Nearby comp just sold for $3 million. Is listing an ALN versus MLS going to hurt my chances? No, man, put it in ALN.
It'll still sell, but why would you not put it on MLS just for the record?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the deal. So I have a friend who she was all into a property at 2.5, put it on for 6.5, $7 million on ALN, $7 million cash offer, all fully furnished. So they paid $500,000 more just to have it fully furnished. So if you're putting it on the ALN just because you don't want to add days on market in your testing price, then put it on ALN. But if you want to put it on the market and get people in there, put it on the MLS. Unless you're concerned about who's coming through your home, but you could still verify and have your agent talk to agents to see who's actually coming through your door. I mean, in the $4 to $5 million price point, I mean, from the $3 to $5 million price point, every home I've shown, usually the listing agent meets me there.
I was going to say, you can have the agent meet their potential buyers there.
Yep. Go ahead. I felt like,
I don't know, man. I just don't know. I was looking at that earlier because somebody asked the question about like how non-traditional brokerages or listing services are going to disrupt the market. Do you remember how many years they've been talking about that? Like, I remember 20 years ago
when Keller Williams started.
I remember 20 years ago that I saw articles about how the real estate industry is changing and being disrupted. Come on, it's not. Yeah. I looked at Rex. Rex is one of these pay less money kind of deals. There are 6 homes on their entire network, guys. 6 entire homes. Do you think they're disrupting anything right now? No.
I have 4 listings coming in the next 2 weeks.
plus, not only that is when these people talk about discount brokerages, because I saw these folks in Florida that were talking about like sell your home for as little as 1%. You know what that meant? In the fine print, it says that they would actually sell it for they'd still sell it for 5%. Yeah. But then if something happened that they would give you a 1%. Oh, if you buy and sell, they would give you a 1% discount if you buy and sell with them. And then they said in there that you don't pay 3% if the buyer comes unrepresented. Well, no, if the buyer's unrepresented,
that's already how it works. So you don't get it. It's a play on words. It's a fishing attempt.
I'm not going to disparage
research.
I'm not going to disparage that company, but I was kind of appalled today at what I saw. There was a sponsored ad by that company, and the comments, like people, they just shut down the comments and the thumbs up or down, whatever, on Facebook. And the person who runs Rex, with the Rex icon, was coming at people.
Yeah.
How does that look good for you?
No, it doesn't. It's a bad.
How does that look? They were coming at people. and they were like they were writing really awful comments, and I want to start screenshotting it, but you can't really disparage. But whoever ran their icon, it might not have been their company, but whoever ran that Rex icon was writing some really awful things. So I was actually shocked about what I saw. Blake S. says, a realtor I'm currently working with said that the property I like was under contract when it's still active and does not respond a lot to my messages. Should I work with a different realtor? I think the reality is you need to work who's best for you. I mean, I hate to say this in front of all these people, but unless you're under contract, I'm not saying this to you specifically, but unless you're under contract on a property with that agent, you can find another agent. I mean, I'm not saying this to you. I'm just saying in general, you know, I've been fired before. Ian's been fired before. Kevin's mullet has not been.
But I've also fired people.
Fired.
We've all, we've fired people. So look, here's the reality. I have clients reach out to me all the time that say, I want to see this property. It shows active and it's not active. And I tell them, no, it's not active. So it could not, and it's possible it might not actually be active. It might be under contract. So I would ask them to screenshot you the notes or show you in the MLS where it says it's not active. Maybe that might be a route. But
so a quick comment on this. I've noticed that some sites like Zillow and maybe Zillow.
Exactly.
When you're looking at active, they could be active and under contract, but it's like they've made it harder to see. So a lot of people haven't been seeing if it's gone under contract. So I would just double check that before. And I don't know. I don't know you from Adam, right? But just before you make the assumption that it was the realtor, but it could be that they're not, not communicative. I would say just look into it.
I would have a conversation with your agent first before you do
There you go.
And please stop using Zillow for your home search because they stopped syndicating with us.
Yes.
So they don't actually get syndicate data from our MLS anymore. They get it through they don't syndicate directly. They syndicate through other people that syndicate. So that's where they get their data.
Yeah.
But I just had a client send me 2 houses yesterday that sold a month ago and they both still show active on Zillow.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a phishing attempt to get you to call and get your information and then show you something else.
No, because it's not just that. Is that Zillow?
No, that's one example.
Zillow has to have homes listed active in order to sell leads to those that are paying for leads through the platform. If there are half as many homes listed for sale now, their business model only works if a lot of homes are sold or are listed active, and then they can sell those buyer leads to the people they're paying. Why do I know this? Because I've done it. Early in my business, I worked with Zillow, and I can't tell you how many heated conversations I got in with the Zillow reps over the garbage that they were doing. And I finally was just like, I'm out. And then Realtor.com had always treated me very well, and their data is very accurate. Use your favorite realtor site or use Realtor.com is what I always say.
I don't know who the troll is. I might have missed something. Mark,
maybe that.
Mark says NAR sued Zillow. I'm curious to who the troll was.
It could be that or the one above it.
It could be this one, which is Don saying to reach out to Ian. Did you pay? How much did you pay him, Ian, to put that on there?
I mean, it wasn't that much, but slip him a little something.
Yes, Elon. I don't even know. That's another conversation for another day.
Oh, Joel's being the troll. I have to go see where you were the troll, Joel. I doubt Joel was being the troll, though.
If you're watching this, I would say if you have a home under $5 million, I think it should go on MLS.
I do too.
Maybe 4 million.
My question is why, unless it's privacy related, why do you not want as much exposure as possible?
Look, the reality is if you're testing price point, that's one. Like if you're going to put some ridiculous price out there and you want to see what, that's the only reason I can justify if you don't want it to hit the MLS instead of the market for 300 days. I mean, that's the only thing that I would see.
But that's a good reason why. Is there any other reason, and does your reason fit that? So that would be my question.
Let me play devil's advocate. Let me go back into my brain for a minute, and I'll be back in a second. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna think about that.
So Calaterra, I have a client that just closed in Calaterra. I have another client that's bidding currently on the builder's lots in Calaterra. I love Calaterra. My only retort to Calaterra is the tax rate is a little high. It's like 2.9 something. But as a community, Calaterra is absolutely high on my list. It's one of my favorites. If I didn't work all over town, I would consider High Point or Calaterra or alternative places for me to live. But we do so much work up north. Circle C is the easiest place for me to access everything. Go ahead, Ian.
About up north?
I don't know. You just had a
I
funny
just
grin
like
on your face.
listening. I'm reading and listening. But to Kevin's point, I like that he took a moment to pause to think about what he's going to say about that. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think as far as listening it on the ALN, if you have an idea of who your perfect target buyer is, and you know that buyer has nothing, it will not be in the traditional MLS. It's like, I'm not going to say it's like people that have iPhones. I'm going to say it's like people that drive BMWs.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Shots fired.
But only 7 Series, right? Like there's always a typecast to things, right? Or often a typecast to things. So I just think if you know that it's worth that, if you know you don't want other people looking at it, only the people that are capable of purchasing that home, no looky-loos, your target market, and that's where they're shopping, then maybe that is the right place for it. Maybe.
I think if your home sucks, well, I mean, I'm serious. If you have a really nice home, but you know that it's not really appealing to another buyer, that's the only time I would say put it on an off market, test the market, see what you think. Otherwise, if you have a really nice home, I think it needs to go in front of the general public and then let them decide as many people as want. Because like you should be pulling people in and trying to get the most out of that deal. I'm not joking. I lost 2 offers for. We put 400,000 in over ask on 2 different homes and didn't get either one for nice homes that were listed on MLS. So I think that worked out well for the seller in that case because they got a lot of money.
So what Louis is saying is that when you sell off market, that tax districts don't see what it closed for. But that's the same thing for every other home that sells off market.
Yeah.
But every other home that sells off market, I can guarantee you, where I have saved my clients the most money is selling properties off market as the buyer's agent. Now, I did do one. I was the listing agent and I had a property down the street that had multiple offers on it. I went to all the other offers that were there. And I said, hey, look, I have this other one. You want to see this other one? And we had multiple offers on that one. So, but the thing is, like, if you're trying just to save tax value, I mean, you're still on the market for a long time. So, well, I mean, you may or may not. I mean, it depends. It depends on how you price it. I don't know. What are your thoughts about that, Kevin?
No, I don't have any thoughts about that. I don't even know. I mean, I understand why you do it. He's right. If you don't sell it on MLS, you don't have to report the sold price. I understand. And I've done that before, just so you're aware. I've sold properties off market because it worked out well to do such a thing. But anymore, I don't know, man. I just don't know.
I think one of the questions I have is, are you trying to save someone else from paying taxes? Right? Because once you sell it, you're not worried about, right?
That is such a good point. Hold on. That's such a good point. Hold on. I want to get
wait. No. Taxes are paid in arrears. Let's think about this. Taxes are paid in arrears. So they'd value the property at the end of the year and then you'd be responsible for the taxable value based on then.
But as a seller, your whatever they're showing up as the taxes for that year, that's all if you're there halfway through the year, that's what you're responsible for.
I know, but what he's saying is if the house sells during that year and it's a reported sale, then at the end of the year in arrears, when they prorated the taxes for your ownership during that time, they'll know to adjust it. So you might end up paying more during the time that you did own the house during the year. So
right.
I understand
sell it in
that. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, sell it in January. You're in good shape.
You're good.
I've actually had that where it was a $2.4 million property. We had to come back to the seller and adjust it because they went up. So I've seen that. But yeah, I mean, if you can get more on the MLS, I'm not sure that the numbers going between ALN and MLS are going to actually be much different, but you'll have more eyes on it for sure. And I think that's what you want. Is Circle C worth the skyrocketing prices? Are there subdivisions in Circle C that aren't worth the high price? Noel, I live in Circle C. I live in a great neighborhood in Circle C. The reason why we purchased in my neighborhood in Circle C is it was going to be rezoned to the new elementary that was opening up. Our prices have doubled. So everybody that got in at that time frame has doubled. So moving forward, is Circle C going to keep seeing this? Yes, we're the new Westlake. Circle C is the new Westlake because the schools are rated so incredibly high. If the school ratings tank, maybe it'll go down. But yes, the location of Circle C is one of the best because you're 15 minutes from downtown. And you're close to Dripping Springs. And the schools are rated well. And I live here.
Also,
yeah.
No, I don't know.
What else?
No, I went and did math. By the way,
park.
I went back to math on the listing versus not listing. By the way,
the ALN versus MLS.
Even if your home property doubled, like if you wanted to sell it, if the county thought it was worth $1.5 million or whatever in taxes, and you sold it for $3 million, but you didn't want to report that sale because of the difference. If you're at a standard base rate in Southwest Austin, not including a MUD, that would be a difference in $33,000 in taxes. That is nothing relative to how much more you could get in a multiple offer situation.
Yeah. Yes. But he also commented about the buyers and knowing that they have to pay the excess in tax.
Oh, okay.
Right. I know.
I mean, no, it's going to come back at some point. Do you not think the county is going to at some point figure out that house is not worth $1.25 million and it's probably worth 3 or 4? I mean, it may take 1 year or 2 years or whatever, but they're going to figure out eventually. You can't outsmart the county.
But then the next person's paying the taxes. And then he said the tax savings are an incentive for the buyer. Rich people hate to pay taxes, even when it is negligible part of the net worth. Okay. So here's a realtor question. I know realtors are crazy busy. Should your realtor be going with you when you look at new build model homes?
I'm going to answer that and say I really like to. But it also depends on the circumstance. If you have a bidding situation, or if you know that they're going to get 20 offers, well, so still bidding, and this property will be done, they won't be taking any more offers. It's a Sunday night. They're taking them all until Sunday. You might not have time. Nobody has time. You do have an earnest money deposit. You can make it work. The realtor can go out there with you after the fact.
If you are working actively with a realtor and you happen to go to a builder, just do them a solid and tell the builder rep that you're working with the realtor up front. Don't
hide that information, because then that ends up being a whole ordeal.
I'm not saying that that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
It is.
I mean,
but yeah, overall, I'm going to go with 90%, 85% yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the situation. Look, if you're going to spend a Saturday driving around to check out neighborhoods, yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need your agent with you for that, but I would, do exactly what Kevin said and let them know that you are working with a realtor. Because, in my last video, I talked about, kind of the things builders are doing that are questionable. They are encouraging people not to use agents. And so if you come in without an agent and you don't specify you have an agent, they'll be, oh, you had no agent. Sorry, you can't use one.
Yeah.
You have the right to representation in Texas. You don't have, and again, this is what I said in this video. Somebody got upset with me and saying that, oh, I was just trying to sell people and stuff. You don't have to use a realtor. You also don't have to use a lawyer. You can represent yourself in court. It's up to you. Now, if you're a seasoned buyer and you've done it several times and you think you might be able to save yourself some money and you know what you're doing, I mean, go for it. But again, think about how much time and energy goes into a year of build. And if you do get in a situation, the builder's rep doesn't represent you. They represent the builder. Yes, they're there to help you, but their agent is there to do everything and make sure everything's on your behalf. So it's up to you. But I would definitely do what Kevin said. There are times that I've had a client walk in a new build and said, hey, they tell me this last one just came up. Should I write a contract on it? I'll call the builder rep, give me all the information on it. I'll be like, I would write a contract on it now. Get it. Let's get it right now, because you can't pass this up. And I've had that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else there, K-Rod?
Nope.
If I close a new build for $440K and the following tax year, my house got assessed way more, which is something that I tell people that's going to happen every time. Then I closed for the value to a spike price increase. Can I show closing documents to protest? This is a very good question, and it is going to lead down a long rabbit hole, I see. But yes, every single year you can protest your taxes. File your homestead. You can't do it. This is why I love closing like November, December, because then you can file your homestead in January.
Right
You
away.
can't file your homestead the same year you purchase them. So I love closing in at the end of the year for that reason. But yes, what I've done in my personal experience, when I bought an investment property, I took my closing disclosure. This is what I purchased it for, because I had no other good comps to help me. What do y'all think?
Well, I think that's really the question. Are there comps? Because it might be hard to find out what other things they're selling for when you're going to protest, right? So if it's an all new build community, it's not like they're throwing those all on the MLS either, where you can use that to pull comps. So you might actually win in that regard, right? Like you might do a good job during that protest. But also, can you? And this goes to what Kevin was saying before. Can you realistically? Do you realistically think that the appraisal district won't know? You're trying to tell me that your house is worth $200,000 less right now? That's a really tough argument, and that's the thing. You can't. You have to have some objectivity to it. They don't care about your emotions. In this
You should
regard.
definitely fight. I mean, fight it if you believe in it, but just set your expectations, right, Ian?
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Kevin, is it better if the neighborhood you sign a contract and closes out and no more homes are available, or if it has lots of homes waiting to be built, sold?
I know that's probably a serious question, but I mean, law of supply and demand there works wonders. If you have the option to buy in a highly desired neighborhood where there's no more homes available, then yeah, I would buy that as quick as possible.
Or it's nearing the end of the closeout.
Yeah, I mean that's the time I think it's it just depends, but yeah, I'd like to be in a subdivision buying than a home in a subdivision that's closing out. That's what I would prefer. And the reason why is because if something did happen in the market and you own a home where there's still 200 houses yet to be built, what do you think is going to happen if there's a softening? The builder has way more flexibility in price cut than you do as a homeowner. So you'll be competing with the builder to sell your house if you had to move.
Not have to move. That's
not if lumber prices are still high. I mean,
yeah,
the
but what
cost of
happens
building
if
a
they
house.
just
What do you
walk
mean?
away from it too? That's bad. Like if they said,
you're
I'm out, and you have all these lots sitting here next to your house.
That's true.
That's bad.
Somebody else is going to come in and purchase them and build.
That happened over by Agave on the east side.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a
Remember
lot of
that?
lawsuits with them.
I know. That's what I'm saying, and it didn't move for a long time.
With so much new property tax coming into Texas, could this lead to lowering? I know this is a serious question, but that made me giggle. Could this lead to a lowering of property taxes overall in the near future? Kevin.
What? I wasn't even listening.
With so much new property,
the city's making more money, or the state's making more money. Really, the county is making more money.
God, no.
Our tax is going to go down.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say that you work a job at the Western States Railroad. And let's say that your job tomorrow got 100 times easier. Would you accept a pay decrease?
Love that. I love the way you worded that.
No, you would not. You'd be like, well, I'm not going to do less for what do you think? Our government that I've ever known has never been generous for any other reason except that there's something else in it for them. So I would never expect our government to do anything in regards. Now, the difference is the lower property tax can lower if you buy in a MUD, and over the course of the years that the MUD does decrease to the base rate, but you'll never see the base rate decrease past what it is right now.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree with that.
yeah, the base rate.
The MUD's a curious thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
The MUDs will come down or the PIDs will come off, but yes, you're correct. The base rate will not. And I've seen like PIDs come off and the taxes don't change.
I like how Jeremy said, yes, you are correct, because I know.
Okay.
Because I agree with you, you are correct. All right. Oh yeah, here we go, Elizabeth. We bought in Double Eagle Ranch. No, I was just talking about this. We bought in Double Eagle Ranch in October with Jeremy, and are now selling. Now they are now selling for $130,000 6 months later.
I'm super curious, without giving away any personal information, where are you going to?
No. She's not
They're
going
not
anywhere.
selling. They're not selling.
They moved into.
Oh, now they're selling build.
They
new
are
build.
Yeah,
selling,
they new
yeah.
build.
Okay, I was like, where are you going? I'm so
Yeah.
curious. Like,
No. Yeah, that is exactly what Elizabeth, welcome. I actually brought this up earlier when we were talking about Bastrop, is that I had another client that was actually interested, and I reached out to the rep there. And I was like, hey, what do you have? And like, oh, our prices are $660, $670. And I'm like, my client just paid under that. Sorry, I don't want to blow up your price, in the low 500s. And you're talking about, that's a huge price jump. That's a huge in a very short amount of time. I want to say it was only like 2 months. I want to say they closed like late January, February. So that's, yeah, Elizabeth, welcome to the show. I'm impressed you watch. Thank you. Follow-up question. In 2021, while it was being built, it got only assessed for $75K for the land. And for in 2022, even if I file a homestead, they will still assess it without the 10% cap.
when did it close?
Yeah. Well, they're still going to assess it wherever it's at and then give you a 10% discount. So, I mean, if they say the house is worth $700,000 now, they're still going to give you a 10% discount on it, but you're still paying whatever they say. So still fight it. I haven't asked this yet, but any thoughts on Colony and Bastrop? No, we're not answering this question because it's going to be my Sunday video, Master Jedi. So you'll have to watch that one. And welcome back, nice. Mr. Robert. Split it evenly, guys. Whiskey funds for Jeremy, merch work for Ian, mullet, pomade for Kevin.
Oh, pomade! I have pomade.
I use pomade.
I just never use it, but I have it.
I'm not a pomade guy. I'm more of like a styling cream.
Yeah. And why is the assumption that I'm doing the merch work? That's really funny. I do talk about it a lot.
These are the most organized.
So yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So what's on the books for Real Migos, Ian?
I mean, all sorts of things. We've got merch on the way. We just got the logo up there.
Up there. That's not
so hard.
Wait, hold on. There we go.
In the corner and in the background. So that's the start of an empire. Just letting you know. Yeah. It's going to be as ubiquitous as the T for the Tesla logo.
Yeah.
I said it.
And what are your thoughts on the new logo? I added in the Real Migos words, but the three icons Ian came up with. So what are your thoughts on that? And how much merch would you buy? Would you buy Yetis with that on there? We should get Yetis.
The types, that's really important. We have in Austin, we have our own like certified Yeti color, which is the UT orange.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
But that's the thing. It's like Austin. Like, it's definitely cool to say that you can only, Yeti is the only company that can do that for tumblers or whatever.
So so we'll have to get some Yeti tumblers and tumblers. And what is the other thing? What are these called? Are these the tumblers? Tumblers are small ones, right?
Those are actually the tumblers.
These are the tumblers. Okay.
Tumbler is a generic term, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to get some of the. Yeah, there you go. We'll have to get some of those. The little coffee cup ones too. Digging the logos. All right.
Yeah, shirts are already on the way. That's the easy one. That's a must.
Can I bring up a topic I think we need to discuss real quick?
Yes, go for it.
Because a number of my clients are asking me questions about it right now. So Fannie Mae getting stricter with investment property loans. Are you guys aware of this? What's
Yeah,
going
that
on?
was April, early April or April 1st is when they changed the rules, right?
Yes. So they tightened their lending standards on second home and investment-backed homes, as well as cutting back on purchases of these mortgages as well. There are two major changes coming down the pike. First, Fannie Mae is cutting back on purchases of these loans, limiting its investment in second home-backed loan acquisitions to just 7% of its portfolio. Blah, blah, blah. It'll also tighten its underwriting standards for second home and investment property purchases. So not only will they be harder to come by, they'll be much more difficult to qualify for too. So if you're thinking about investing in this market right now, be prepared for two things. If you know that you're going to be buying as an investment property, be prepared to answer these questions. You'll likely have to come up with more money down and be asked to pay a higher interest rate. And it will be harder to qualify for those as investment properties, just so you're aware. So you need to buy a home in here. You need to buy a home here and then move your butt here.
Yeah, I have moving is really important. I have an investor that we got locked about a week ago, and we have to hurry up and find some stuff like right now. So we don't, because we're locked. So
All right.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that works for me because we're already putting 25% down. Obviously, I think you have to on a loan, but I imagine an investment loan, and I know rates are going to be higher for me anyway. I'm already anticipating that, and I've packed that into the numbers. Yeah. But how much? What were the other things that was going to impact somebody like myself?
What are you asking?
What were the interest rates?
Oh, interest rate
and
qualification. Yeah.
So what was the difference in What was the difference in qualification, I guess is my question.
I don't know the specific underwriting guidelines, but you're going to be doing a desk underwrite now for everything. So they're going to go through full. I mean, it's going to be way more strict as far as how you're going to be able to qualify or not qualify.
I honestly, I'm personally going to go ahead now and just say it right now. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to say it now. I think that's all going to be smoke and mirrors. I don't think it's going to be as bad. There's no way that they are going to hamper investment purchases. I just don't see it.
You know why?
They might make it a little bit tougher, but as scary as they're making it sound, I don't think it will.
Can I put on my conspiracy theory hat?
I love it. Bring it on.
Is that it? Los Angeles is your
No, that I believe that I totally agree with you. I actually think when this stuff comes down to the pipeline, again, I think if the government, and we can talk about that in another way, they probably have a vested interest in them investing more money in these. Like if you're thinking about these places that like are buying subdivisions, right, for investment properties, they're trying to generally deter the standard Joe average investor from buying a house for investment because they would love to use their institutional money to buy these properties in like markets like Austin so that they can take advantage of the appreciation in what is a very hot market.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that's actually a pretty valid point.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Let's think about it. If Austin's market is, and I've said this 100 times before, if Austin's market grew 25% year over year and you knew definitively it was going to grow between 7 and 15% and you had cash, where are you going to park your money? If you had $100 million, where would you park money if you knew that you could make? Because a lot of those guys, they're happy with 1 or 2% on those kind of sums of money. But if you knew that you could buy and get 7 to 15% on those institutional sums of money, would you not want to do that? So that's my philosophy.
Like I said, I think it's smoke and mirrors. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as bad as they say it is. And if it is, what's the percent rate going to raise? I mean, investment loans are already a little bit higher. So, but I agree. That's a pretty interesting point. Kevin, I'm glad that you are a conspiracy theorist and you can join us on the show. Ian, what do you want to pull up here?
Oh, I saw a comment about the Walter E. Long Lake. So
where is that? Walter E. Long. Before we do that,
858. But yeah, we can do that later.
850. No. Here we go. Yeah, I see it. Can I get an Ian hat with a stone and mullet on the back?
Here's the thing. If you can find this hat, I will pay you $500. You hear that?
I'm going to find it.
If you can find this exact hat, I will pay you $500.
What's
you don't even have to buy it. Say it again.
What's special about that hat versus any other beret?
Here's my question. Have you ever seen it before?
I've not, but
That's the
I'm
answer.
I'm not actively looking for.
Was it specially made for your head?
It fits it fits well. Let's just say that. Yeah. So
I thought you
back to
talked
that
about
question
this for
though, if it has a sewn-in mullet, it has to be blonde with a little spike on the top, right? Or that little, poof on the top.
Oh yeah, we gave it a little spike.
You have to have all three.
I don't
You
have it
can't
up
do half
today.
of it.
I was running around and didn't.
no gel.
Yeah. So Don Gulch asking, who earlier said Ian's the best realtor in Austin, which my moniker is your favorite Austin realtor. So I don't know how that works, but
Best and favorite are synonymous, but they're different too.
What's happening at Walter Elon Lake Park? Heard their big plans, but haven't seen any add to stream. Boom, go.
Yeah, so I just wanted to pull this up real quick. They're basically turning it into kind of an entertainment hub where they're going to have an amphitheater. Imagine if they're just doing lake events. This looks like a little bit of a water park, but where you can just run out there and your kids can splash and have a good time. So they'll have food trucks, venues, tents. It looks really, really cool. So 3,700 acres right now. It's like isn't it a defunct power plant or something like that? Hydro. Plant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It looks like Austin's Dubai is what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So there's going to be a lot going on there.
I like that.
It's right where Parker Station is.
I know.
And I have some clients under.
I tried when I first really saw Parker Station. I tried to get in as an investor. That's hard. Right when they were shutting everything down for investors. I was so mad. I'm like, that'd have been perfect. Oh no, it was this question. Real Migos, can you confirm when is the best time to lock in a rate given how rates are going up 30 or 60 days or more? Are they going up?
So are you an investor or a first-time buyer? What's your loan type, right? Is it VA? I hope it's not VA or FHA. Let me just say that right now. Jeremy, you moving? Oh, I thought you were frozen. I was like, what? Am I alone? Am I alone here?
Bye, Ian. Let's see. Current rates.
So conventional. Yeah. And then are you able to lock without paying more, or how far are you able to lock without paying much more? Right. There's so many variables in there. That's really a lender question, in my opinion.
We'll have to bring Sarah on next week if people ask nicely.
Yeah.
Today's mortgage rates.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So to answer the question, sorry, I was just curious what rates currently were.
Yep.
I'm still seeing rates. Quicken's quoting 2.8 to 3.25. Amerisafe. Those aren't real numbers, but
right.
So still in the mid threes. Here's how I'll answer this question. I don't know.
Well, also when we were talking about rates going up, we were talking about specifically for investment, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't see if you were first time buying.
Rates have gone up over the last 3 months. So I would say number one, we all have lenders who pay attention to this rate stuff more than we currently do. So I would ask your lender their advice, because I've had lenders say, we have all of this data that's saying, don't lock in now, wait till whatever day. And then you lock in that day. So I would ask, this more of a lender question. I would definitely ask your lender, because I think this is something where they're going to be able to give you a better, focused thing. Call Sarah Morris. Or if you ask nicely, we'll have her on next week. Can a custom home builder build for 200 square foot in Houston, build for 200 square foot in Austin, not including land? Well, that's the kicker. If you can build for 200 square foot there, I'd imagine you can build for 200 square foot here, but your labor costs are going to be higher. So that's going to be harder, but the land's going to be higher. So you can't really build price per sesquare foot, not including land.
Are they bringing all of the crew and all of the lumber and all our materials and stuff with them? Because then you still have to pay for transportation and fuel and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah.
So.
And Lily Bell says a lot of people in Austin are not selling because everywhere is too expensive now.
I think you have a plan. Sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you have a plan on where you want to go, or have multiple properties and you want to, downsize, or you bought an RV, or you want to move out to Gerald and you catch a new build, something like that, then that's a different conversation. Because
if
there are a lot of people that aren't selling.
If you already live in the Fertile Crescent that is Austin, where else would you want to go?
Well, and I love that too, right?
Not Houston.
Not Houston. Where would you want to go? Well, honestly, that's a question for your chat.
Yeah,
you're here because you're interested in Austin, right? Or maybe you just like mullets and berets and Jeremy's quick wit. But where would you live if you weren't interested in Austin anyway? I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah. Some people would say Nashville. Some people would say Denver or Boulder. Some people would say, where else?
Treviso.
Charlotte.
Yeah, some people would say Treviso.
Raleigh, Durham.
Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte's one.
Atlanta. I've not heard one person in the last 4 years say they want to live in Atlanta.
I've had a lot of people
say they ended up in Atlanta.
I've had a lot of people say they're moving from Atlanta.
Hey, what was that movie years ago where the guy plays like a Chad and he ends up buying like a 7,000 square foot house in the Atlanta suburbs? It's kind of like a joke. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. It's not Roll Bounce. It's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. ATL. It's also not that.
That's definitely not that.
And say it's TI.
Nashville. Holiday Inn.
Yeah. I was just in Nashville.
Nashville. Waco, Raleigh.
Oh, I've had people asking about Waco. What do you call it, Jeremy? South Dallas?
Yes.
South Dallas.
Yeah, but it's not like Austin. Like, it's a very different culture. And that's really the question. The question is, are you relocating to get away from the Austin culture? Because there are a lot of people who are coming here for what they heard the Austin culture was. And or for their jobs and tech and promise of, what is it, the gold rush, if you will.
Silverman's right. It's pronounced wacko.
Wacko, yes.
I've called it wacko for a long time.
Office meme.
Is it just north of Weird, or is that not a thing?
Yeah. I would live in Starbase, Texas. Honestly,
you know what? I would live in Starbase, Texas.
I'll be quite honest with you. Like, we're looking at potentially buying another property in South Padre just because, like, I want to buy a place facing the ocean, on the ocean, that we can retire to and rent it out until we actually retire. Because I know the price
of the Rockets launch.
And
that's not the ocean, and you know it. Call it what it is. It's a gulf.
I'm on the water. I'm on the water. It gets hurricanes, so it's the ocean.
It's not an ocean. It's a gulf.
I know it's the gulf.
It's semantic,
a big body of water. Yes.
You're not surfing on it, Kevin. That's it. It's the only difference. And it might be a different color. And more jellyfish.
You're not catching waves, you're catching something else.
Yeah.
Catching bacteria.
Yeah. No, you're not.
I'm just joking.
Mars, Bay. Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, fishing in the bay is so much fun. Going bay fishing there, I love it. God, I love South Padre. People are going to Idaho, Naples.
Ooh.
Right.
And why?
Yeah.
They don't even have internet in Idaho.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
I've never been back to Colorado.
I never go back.
Oh, never go back to Colorado. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there we go. All right, that's it, guys. I got to take a call from a client. Sorry to end it here. I got to leave you. I got to take a call from a client. I've been waiting for 5 days to hear back from them, so I got to go. And they just text me that they can call now. So there you go. Everyone. Appreciate everybody. Sorry we got to go, but that's it. We got to end it. Have a great one. Appreciate it. Love.
See you guys.
Tell us what in the comments section below. Tell us what merch you do want and what you would buy from the Real Migos, and we will have Ian get it ready. All right.
And tell us what tattoo Jeremy should get on his neck.
Yeah, right here. Yeah,
no,
yeah, butterfly
right here, right there.
Butterfly. All right.